Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today I want to have a little bit of a special conversation about why Paladin is meta. In some of my chats on stream, in Discord, I consistently get asked about Protection Paladin damage. And they see other tanks and it does more, and we have to start having a conversation about why Protection Paladin is definitely one of the most popular and slightly meta specs. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Before we do get into it though, please do like, comment, subscribe. It goes such a long way towards helping out the channel. This is an early access video for my patrons. I have tons of exclusive stuff on there, written stuff, early access, Patreon, lots of stuff. There is merch for sale as well. There's Blood Decay, I'm the healer now. Plate tanks do it better. I only do dungeons fully erect. Lots of different styles of merch there as well. Go check that down in the Teespring down below. Discord link and Twitch link also down in the doobly-doo down below. Alright, so what makes a meta tank in World of Warcraft season after season? And that really depends on the dungeon pool itself. Now, number one, the tank needs to be able to survive. Self-sustain is very important. If a tank cannot live past a certain point, it doesn't matter how useful they are, they're not really, they need to be able to live and self-sustain themselves well enough without a healer. But this season, in Season 2, we are seeing a very big shift into utility. Utility this season is actually really crazy and one of the determining factors to how clean a run can be. And one of the things that Protection Paladin has in abundance is utility, right? And that right there is really what makes them stand out apart from any other tank when played with that utility in mind. Just some of the, like, you got Cleanse, Poison, Disease, two prominent dispels in Season 2. Freedom, double freedom with a 30% movement speed. Ba, Blessing of Spell Warding. Sack, 1 minute sack. You have a full immunity as well. And you have the potential to off heal. Not to mention the new affix combination, right? So we look at Entangled. You can freedom it and freedom someone else as well. Incorporeal. You actually have two abilities, Turn Evil and Repentance, that can deal with this. Now, they are a little bit difficult to use and they have a cast time, but the thing is if this goes off in a 20, it's most likely a wipe in most scenarios. So if you can deal with it, why wouldn't you, right? Being dead hurts your run. The whole party being dead hurts your run more than you having to cast something. Afflicted, oh look at that! You've got an easy to grab dispel. And on top of that, you just have infinite kicks. Now, there's some dungeons where priority kicking isn't, priority kicking is always important, it's just how many they are. Like, if you look at Neltharion's Lair, that has very few actual interrupts, and then Halls of Infusion. Like, Halls of Infusion in the first 3 pulls has more total combined interrupts in the first 3 pulls than, like, all of Neltharion's Lair, right? They're two wildly different dungeons, but Paladin can just deal with them all. On top of having an AoE stop with Blinding Light, I keep calling it Divine Bedazzle, that's a long story, whatever, and an insanely short Hammer of Justice cooldown. Paladin's kit is quite literally almost tailor-made for how strong this season is, and we're going to take Freedom as a prime example of that. Freedom, you can immune so many things. And we're going to go into Halls of Infusion here just to talk about this one thing. Deep Chill. The blue dragons that, you know, do the Deep Chill cast and cast it on everyone. You can freedom that and someone else before the cast goes off and quite literally just immune it every single time. That's a lot of damage. And you ask healers what they worry about in the trash of Halls of Infusion about so much. Now, there's a lot of things, but that Deep Chill cast is brutal, and just being able to immune it is, for you and someone else, is huge. Now, there are a lot of ways to get rid of it, right? Like, Warriors, you can save your avatar for when that goes off. Blood Death Knights, you can AMS it. Hunters, Disengage, there's Ghost Wolf, Shapeshift, there's tons of different things that you can do. Bears, I wouldn't really Shapeshift this in most scenarios. You may just get clapped, because you're usually, you know, tanking, so something you gotta worry about. But just being able to immune that and for yourself and someone else, that's crazy, right? If you think of all of the utility, the immunes, the healing, that's what makes Protection Paladin meta, because they are not the highest damaging tank right now. Now, that does not mean, because for some odd reason, when I say something like they're not the highest damaging tank right now, there's somebody that's like already typing in the YouTube comments, but I fucking blast on my Protection Paladin, I do so much. Yes. Of course. It's a generalization of the numbers at the highest end. Of course you can blast on Paladin. Like, you know, it's not black or white, man. There's an entire gray zone in between. But that's what makes Protection Paladin so good, is they're good at the entire gray zone in between. They have an answer for everything. Literally everything. You have stupid amounts of defensives that you can cycle. Infinite kicks, the power to give immunities to what needs to be immuned, and you've got a dispel, and you've got the means of dealing with every affix out there, which kind of boggles my brain when I see Protection Paladins going, I can't take that, it's too hard to get, and my damage. Dude, you're literally meta because of utility. Like, you just have an answer for everything. So not taking the answer for stuff kind of... Why? What's the point? But whatever. I digress. But that's why Protection Paladin is meta. They have a talent to answer everything. Where not every tank does. But I also want to talk about the off-healing capabilities for Protection Paladin, because now I've been doing a few series, I've been healing and I've been doing DPS. And the amount of Paladins that I see have 40% or below Shield of the Righteous uptime, stressing their healers and having to babysit them while they're word of glorying other people because they think that they have to heal everybody as like the kind of off-healer tank, is crazy. The reason why Protection Paladin is so good is not because they spend every word of glory healing everyone else. Now, we're going to take no healer runs aside. That's a whole different ballgame and a very, very niche circumstance. But as a Protection Paladin, it's not your job to heal everyone. Okay, that's the healers. You're not going to have the highest HPS. There are other tanks that are going to do that. It's a little bit more selfish in most cases. You know, they're healing themselves. You know, Bear, Vengeance, Blood. You know. But you have the ability to snipe heal people and get them up really, really high. Hand of the Protector is very, very strong, but you also want to make sure that you're not just spamming Word of Glories to get the most out of it. There's a fine balance of upkeeping your Shield of the Righteous uptime so you can remain tanky and off-healing, and there's times to do it and times not to. So that's something that I've seen within the Protection Paladin Pug community that kind of really... You gotta watch that. There are times to hit Word of Glory and help your healer and keep people up. Absolutely. But that doesn't need to be every single moment of every single pull. Keep yourself alive first. Self-sustain yourself first. And then worry about the party. Because if you're dead, or if the healer is having to babysit you endlessly, the healer's not paying attention as much to the rest of the party, things just cascade from there. Self-sustain is so incredibly important for tanking that if you don't take care of yourself first and stay strong and sturdy, the healer's is going to stop healing other people to heal you first, because if you die, everyone else dies. And it just cascades into craziness, right? So that is my video today. What do you guys think? Have yourself a good one. Happy tanking.